Get a little closer. And we are live. Welcome back once again right here to the Sage Paracon right here in Belgrove Plantation. And right now, of course, right next to me is the one, the only Mr. Jeff Belanger. Welcome back to another amazing weekend right here in King George, Virginia.
We did this together. It was September, right? Last year?
Absolutely.
Well, it's good to be back.
And as I was looking through my phone today and I realized 2024 is now 10 years that we have known each other.
Oh, man. We're in the double digits.
That's it.
Wow.
Does this mean the honeymoon's over?
Oh, it was over. It was over years ago.
Is that just because I'm Canadian?
No.
But I bring the good stuff with me every time.
Oh, my God. So the first one was that event in Canada, right?
No, it was the MI Paracon.
Oh, all right. Was that the first time?
It was actually October 30th, 2014.
October 30th. Wow. All right. No,
I'll have to show you the picture later.
I believe you. It's just, yeah. So 10 years ago. My goodness gracious. Yeah.
And here we are 10 years later, and
Time
you're
flies.
still doing your thing.
You're still doing your thing. We haven't evolved at all.
No, actually, I wasn't doing anything. Well, I was just getting into the paranormal. Actually, that was my very first Paracon I ever attended.
Why'd you go? What made you go to that?
Because back then I was just getting into the paranormal, and I didn't know there were such things as paranormal conventions, and I thought it would be a good place to go and learn from other people who are in the paranormal world. And I actually believe the first time I ever talked to you, I didn't even know who you were.
Yeah.
And
which is true of any human being. Right?
So, I mean, I watched the show Ghost Adventures. Of course, for those that don't know, Jeff has been the researcher for the Ghost Adventure shows from day one. Day one.
First episode, yeah.
So, wow. And here you are all these years later, still doing the same gig. And I think, 20 books later?
Yeah. No, I mean, I've written a few books since then, but the show is 16 years old now. And that's a really long run for any TV show. Like, you name a TV show that's run longer. There's a few. Simpsons, right?
Simpsons.
Yeah.
But that's animated, though. But this is reality TV.
Yeah, there's not many.
How many reality TV shows go longer than
a few years?
No more than 5 years, I would say. But even to reach 10 years is amazing. And here you are, 16, and it doesn't look like Ghost Adventures is going to slow down anytime soon.
We're still working on new episodes. We're still filming. It's still it's exciting. It's really cool because it always sort of blows my mind when I meet someone who says, like, "Oh, I've watched that show since I was a kid," and I'm like,
"I'm still a kid, so how did you watch it?"
I've worked on that show since you were a kid. Like, yeah, now I'm running for Senate or something. And you're like, "Oh my gosh!" But no, it's cool to be part of something like that. That's been part of the culture for so long, and then do my own stuff too. But
yes, I know. Looking at Jeff Belanger's calendar and Dustin Perry's calendar, I think you guys are like racing to see who can outdo each other.
Well, I know Dustin well. Obviously, he's a friend, and we live relatively close to each other.
I was going to say a fellow Massachusetts.
Yeah. We're
Massachusettsian. Is that what it is?
Massholes.
Massholes?
That's what they call us from Massachusetts.
Okay, there we go.
So, yeah, we're about 40 minutes apart from each other, and we both have a passion for sharing these stories. My favorite thing to do, like, I love working on Ghost Adventures. I do like writing books and things like that. But when you get to present your stuff in front of a live audience, you know when they like it, and you get to see the reaction. You get to get the feedback right away, and that's so satisfying. Because if someone reads your book, like, you don't get to sit with them while they read it, or if they watch a show, you're not sitting with them while they watch it. And so, I've always appreciated the live audience. I think more than just about anything.
So your latest book is still out there. Mm-hmm. It's all about the Krampus story and just how wicked Christmas really is, and how it's not this wholesome holiday that we want to believe, like this big fat guy comes down our chimney.
Well, it's that
bring
too.
His presents, but
it can be both.
But I think that's the religious side of it all, really.
Well, not Santa, right? I mean, but the beautiful thing about Christmas is that it can be whatever you need it to be. It has always been about the winter solstice first and foremost.
Right.
The longest night, the shortest day, the coldest time of year, this dangerous season that's coming. Where you live, like, winter is a season to survive.
That's right. We get out the Huskies, get out the igloos.
Yeah.
And that's how we travel.
But when you live
I don't think so.
But when you live in northern climates, winter's a different animal.
Yes.
And also, one of the things I appreciate about living in a place that has truly 4 seasons is that I know in the winter I tend to slow down and hibernate. And that used to upset me, but it doesn't anymore. Like that's
Right.
my time to slow and
Right.
recharge,
Right.
and then like spring and summer comes, and you're like, yeah, let's get
I
outside,
can
and
grow again.
yeah, you can be outside and you can do things, and then the fall is great because it's cool enough and everything else. But and there's a seasonality to everything. You know, when we talk about like haunts and things like that.
Right.
So we look at like moon phases, we look at weather, like is there electrical storms in the area, but we should also look at seasonality, because sometimes there seems to be more activity in winter months in some locations, or
Right.
summer months, or
Right.
whatever. Everything is a factor. Every part of that is a part of the story, the context of how we sort of look at this stuff. So I dig it. And out here, you know, this is beautiful. You can't tell from the camera. It's really humid. And
you can see us melting, really. Like, I think this is Jeff's third wardrobe change of the day.
It's hot. It's hot and humid. And that's just how it is. But we're right here by the river, and
we're
it's
enjoying
beautiful.
it. And it's a beautiful weekend. Amazing people are here. You just got done doing your first workshop of the
Yeah, it's the first time I did that. And I did a workshop on turning your story into content. Like how do you sort of hone your story and move it into something, whether it's a book or a video or, you know, an article or whatever.
And I mean, for you, as coming from an author and a person that does a lot of research for shows, I mean, it's just not Ghost Adventures. You've done the research.
Yeah,
you've worked on a lot of shows.
Yeah, I've worked on a few, and over the years, and I get the struggle that paranormal purists have with like, oh, it's TV and that's not really what it's like. It's not really what it's like. It's TV. TV's got to entertain and stuff like that. But at the same time, how cool is it? Like, how many people have been inspired by those shows to then go do the real work themselves and say, oh, this is what it's really like, but I still love it. So if that thing lights a flame, awesome. That's so great. If it gets you interested in asking questions and doing your own research and work, we won.
That too. It also too. I mean, for a lot of people that are out there, they watch the Ghost Adventure shows or any of these other paranormal shows, and they go to these locations. Now, some of the experiences that you guys have had while at those locations, some of those people might have had the very similar experiences. So, how can two people that don't know each other have similar results, right? So, and really in paranormal, that's how you cannot deny that something must be happening, because if multiple people in the same location give you similar results, they might have maybe a smidge different of an experience, but maybe same names, same rooms, whatever. But then how can so many people be wrong? And I think that's when you can start calling it, well, you know, it's got to be something, so we'll just put a label on it and call it paranormal. You know, we truly don't know, because still there's a lot more work to be done to really deep down inside, once you exhaust every avenue there is, to say, well, this is paranormal. Because essentially, I mean, the paranormal is just something that cannot be explained after a while.
Yeah, and that's the fun.
Yeah.
Right? If we wanted stuff that can be explained, we'd be doing math. Right, would be adding.
Oh, no math.
Would be adding numbers and being like, oh, there you go. No, and that's fine. No, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, that's a different world. I like. I think we live in a time where the gray area scares people more than anything. They're so desperate for like one or the other, black or white, on or off, you know, and that the middle ground scares people. But most of life is in the middle somewhere. Yeah. Most of life isn't cut and dry, you know. That's how it is, and if you can embrace that, you'll actually be a happier person, because you won't be so caught up on trying to make everything so definitive and fit in one box or another.
Absolutely.
So if you ghost hunt, you might live a happier life. I'm not.
I'm happy to ghost hunting. I'm the happiest when I'm ghost hunting.
Yeah,
you know,
right? You're out there in
I'm
the dark
by myself. Nobody's bothering me. I'm in a dark room, and I'm talking to people who's not really there, but they're talking back, and that's the amazing part.
Sure.
So your talk today was, like you said, you were explaining to people like how to put your thoughts into pen and paper to create a book or a story or so those that are going to be watching this maybe right now, a little bit later on, what would be one piece of advice for anybody who's inspiring to write something? What would you say to them?
Don't be afraid to experiment and put it all out there, but be naked, vulnerable, and honest, right? Like, just put it all out there, and that first draft should equal total freedom for you, because nobody should ever see your first draft but you.
Right.
So you are free to sing and dance and do silly, weird things, because later on you're going to look at it objectively and edit, and you're going to cut stuff out, and you're going to move stuff around, and you're going to say, all right, now I'm ready for someone to see this.
Right.
Or maybe you need a few drafts of that, but whatever. But that
Right.
first one, don't be intimidated by the blank page. Just start somewhere and do it. And, you know, it's like people that run marathons, like, you know, unless you're from Kenya and you think you can win, you're just trying to beat your own time. You're
Right.
trying to do your best.
Right.
You're up against yourself. And that's,
Absolutely.
and so something like writing a book is a really cool accomplishment. It's amazing. I know I've done it, and I have many friends that have done it.
Yeah.
It is no small venture, and it is so satisfying to be able to do it. So if it calls to you, you should do it. You should do it, and you should, you know, do it to the best of your ability.
And there you have it, guys. Wise words from a wise gentleman, a gentleman who has written many books, inspirational books. I mean, I know your book is out there, the Kilimanjaro, Climbing Kilimanjaro. You wrote that in honor of your brother-in-law who
Yeah.
passed away from cancer. A very, very inspirational book. Like, you did this for him. You really didn't do it for yourself. You didn't wake up one day and say, "Hey, you know what? I feel like climbing a mountain somewhere."
Well, I did it for myself too. You can't do something purely out of, but that was the moment. Like when Chris died, you know, I was only a couple years younger than him, and I was just like, well, shoot, you know, you don't sit around and wait for things, because you don't know when you're going to get that call from the doctor saying this is it.
Time's up.
Yeah. So live your life, right?
Absolutely. Get out there, do what you need to do, live your passions, do things that excite you. Just don't do things because people tell you to, because you'll never be happy that way.
Aren't you now telling people to do that, which makes
No,
them do
absolutely
much-
not. Absolutely
I don't
not.
know. Just thinking of circular logic.
There you have it, folks. We are here at Belanger Plantation all this weekend. Sage Paracon 2024. Jeff Belanger, Richard Esteb, MJ Dixon, Nikki Falso, Sean Porter. Lots of amazing speakers here. So, folks, if you could not be here this year, I definitely would recommend next year. Mark it on your calendar. Follow MJ. Follow Belgrove Plantation on social media. Find out what events are going on, because they have amazing events here, not just this
Oh
one.
yeah, they have stuff almost every weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so come on down. They've always got ghost hunts going on. Kim Sage is here a lot doing her workshops as
Mhm.
well. But there we have it, folks. In the meantime and in between time, we're going to let Jeff go back and do what he does best, and that's talk to people about his books.
Thanks.
And educate people. You know, it's amazing with this gentleman.
And tonight's
And that's
ghost
the other
hunt.
thing. That's the other thing. Out of the 10 years that I've known you, I've never heard the same talk from you twice. You're always,
Yeah.
your talks are always changing. Like, I've heard you say it on many interviews, like you don't like talking about the same things over and over in front of the same people.
Well, I'll get bored. Like, so I'm always want to learn something new, and I always want to. And when I started doing this 20 years ago, the biggest complaint was that the same speakers give the same talks over and over and over and over.
Right.
And I'm like, well, I don't want to do that. And also, there's a million stories I want to check out.
Right.
And so the more I check out, I'm like, oh, now I want to tell you about this one. This is
Right.
new, right? This
Right.
is the new stuff. So it still excites me, and you know, until it doesn't, we keep getting new stuff.
There we have it. So, Jeff, where are you going to be next? Give us a couple of dates.
I don't know.
How do we find you? How are people going to be able to connect with you?
It's all on my website, jeffbelanger.com. I know coming up in this summer, I'll be at Michigan Paracon again.
Absolutely.
I've got an event in Iowa. I'll be in Canada with you.
Absolutely. October 4th.
That sounds
Lake
right.
Superior Paracon,
I'll
the
be
very
there.
first one, the inaugural. This
Yeah.
is the inaugural. So
To be there
I'm
with you.
excited. Jeff is coming across the border once again to talk to, but we have to change his name up. He'll
right.
be officially known as Jeff Belanger.
Belanger, that's right. Yeah.
So come on out to Lake Superior Paracon. Just go over to their Facebook page, see all the dates, get your tickets, join Jeff. That is October 4th and
Join
5th.
Dale. He'll be there.
Yes, that'll be one of our speaking engagements. We
Ooh.
are speaking for sure. Me and Michael John. So
Hey.
we will be there.
Can I give you some advice?
Absolutely.
Don't mess this up.
Oh, now I'm nervous.
That's
You know.
the best advice I could give. Yeah.
So there you have it, folks. Jeff Belanger. Once again, we are here all weekend. I'm going to be back just a little bit later on. I'm going to find another amazing guest to talk to. In the meantime and in between time, like we say, happy huntings.